In any D&D game, character creation is a crucial and exciting step that can consume hours. Especially in the tabletop version, crafting the persona you'll embody for countless hours is a task not to be taken lightly. Arguably, in Solasta, character creation takes on an even greater significance, as you would be creating the whole party of 4 characters. Meanwhile, in Baldur's Gate, usually you would create only one fully original character, and 3 others in your party would be the pre-made companions. Or you can skip this step altogether by playing an origin character yourself. But that's not as fun. The process of character creation itself is pretty straightforward and exactly what you would expect from games like this. You begin by selecting your race, or in Solasta's terms, Ancestry, each with unique stats and skills specific to that race. By default, in Solasta you have these race choices: 2 types of dwarves, a half-elf, a human, 2 elf variants, and 2 halflings. If you opt for the DLC, you'll unlock essentially the full roster from the D&D Player's Handbook, adding 2 gnome subraces, half-orcs, tieflings, and 5 kinds of dragonborn to the mix. Baldur's Gate 3 offers all that and a bit more, adding Githyanki and Drow races, along with various sub-races, such as 5 more dragonborn types, Durgar dwarves, tiefling subraces, and more. Regarding race features, Solasta adheres closely to the D&D rules, preserving basically every single detail. But BG takes a different, unique approach. It removes the ability score bonuses from all races and subraces and instead grants everyone an additional +2 and +1 to allocate as desired. What this does is makes the game a lot more balanced and minimizes meta choices. Because in the standard D&D system, some races were just considered stronger and the obvious choice. For example, why be a tiefling barbarian when you don't need charisma or intelligence? Opting for a half-orc just seems smarter. It is a restricting design, so I really enjoy that it changed. Now you can play any race class combo without worrying if it's optimal. One problem this change could have created is that races that had more than just +2 and +1 to ability scores no longer did and would be much weaker as a result. Thankfully, Larian thought about this and gave humans and half-elves new perks as a replacement. Next up, it's time to choose your class. Much like selecting races, the choices in Solasta may vary depending on DLCs. Without any DLCs, you have access to the classics: Cleric, Fighter, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, and Wizard, with these subclasses. However, with DLCs, the options expand to include all 12 basic classes from the D&D Player's Handbook, alongside additional subclasses. Baldur's Gate 3 also has the same 12 basic classes, taken straight from the D&D. Interestingly, while classes themselves are directly taken from the Player's Handbook in both games, the subclasses take different paths. Solasta comes up with some totally homebrew subclasses, such as Pass of Stone Barbarian, Court Mage Wizard, or Oath of Tirmar Paladin, while Baldur's Gate 3 draws a lot from a variety of other D&D books, like Tasha's Cauldron of Everything and Xanatar's Guide to Everything. The next step is choosing a subclass, if your class offers that option at level 1. If not, straight to selecting background. Your character's background represents what they were up to before adventuring. While it might not carry the same weight as your race or class, it still provides some valuable perks, such as proficiency, language knowledge, and starting gear. If your character was previously an aristocrat, they'll begin with extra gold, proficiency in history, persuasion, and intimidation, as well as knowledge of 2 additional languages. As you may have noticed, most of these backgrounds are not from the D&D at all. Some have a D&D counterpart, but most are unique. The idea clearly was to make backgrounds more impactful. Certain ones give you 3 regular proficiencies instead of 2, others offer unusual perks such as crafting proficiencies or even armor and weapon proficiencies. This makes background a more important choice, as some of them can significantly alter your whole character build, by, for example, gaining medium armor proficiency with a spellcasting class. In Baldur's Gate, backgrounds are drawn straight from the D&D and just offer you 2 proficiencies, without any extra starting items, as it does not make sense in terms of the story. Furthermore, as the game progresses, there's an inspiration mechanic tied to your chosen background. If your actions align with your background, you earn inspiration points that allow you to reroll any non-combat dice roll. For instance, a character with a criminal background gains inspiration for successfully stealing something valuable, while a sage might earn it by delving into an ancient book. This adds substantial role-playing value and enhances the significance of your background choice. Additionally, in Solasta, here you decide your character's personality flags. Basically, you map where they stand on the alignment chart. This is where you make your character chaotic evil. This step is important because in this game, characters often speak without your input at all, and their words and tone depends on these traits. Baldur's Gate doesn't have this system. Almost every single thing that comes out of your character's mouth is for you to choose, so there's no need. Next up is ability scores. Solasta proposes a whopping 4 ways of doing this. The classic rolling dice system rolls 6 sets of 3d6 for you, allowing you to decide how to arrange the results. The scores range from 3 to 18, and you are free to reroll them as much as you want. For a more straightforward approach, there's the standard array, providing fixed scores of 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, and 15. It offers a well-balanced set of scores to create your hero. In the point-buy system, you get 27 points to distribute among the 6 stats as you see fit. Lastly, for the ultimate freedom, there's the free edit option. You can allocate points without any restrictions, granting you complete control over your character's abilities. BG only has a single option for distributing ability scores, the point-buy system, with an addition of +1 and +2 mentioned earlier. I see nothing wrong with this system, it is definitely the most balanced of them all, but it is just a nice practice to have more options. Some people just love rolling their stats. Now comes the part where you select your proficiencies and languages. It's a straightforward process. Based on your previous choices, you get to pick some skills to add a +2 bonus to every roll related to them. What puzzles me though is that Solasta includes some proficiencies that have no use in the game at all, like animal handling. There are no animals. Fortunately, they at least do give players a heads up about this. Languages follow a similar pattern. Depending on your race and background, you get to choose the languages your character will know. While most of them might not have any significant gameplay value and some hold no value at all, it's still a neat way to add depth and flavor to your character. Though Baldur's Gate does not have them. I assume that basically everyone either speaks common or something that your character would not understand anyway. Lastly, let's talk about identity or appearance. Options for the way your character looks and sounds. And I'm going to be brief and honest. Solasta choices here are just overshadowed by Baldur's Gate 3. Even without comparing the two, Solasta's appearance tool feels rather limited and dated. It's quite a challenge to create a truly unique character. Some faces and hairstyles look outright bad. And some races just do not look unique. Can you guess what race this is? It can be anyone, right? But it was a half-orc. One major disappointment in Solasta is the voice selection. With only 2 male voices, 2 female voices and 1 shared option, there's a high chance that at least 2 characters in a party of 4 would end up with identical voices.
And you want us to, meaning kill a bunch of giants? 1 against 4. You think you're fit to fight? A sociopath, you mean? So he locked you up instead? Let me guess. Hurting you would hurt him too.
You can imagine how immersion breaking this can be. Baldur's Gate customization options aren't exactly ideal either. It offers a rather limited variety of faces, physiques and voices. However, despite these constraints, the available options look and sound great, and it still provides more choices compared to Solasta. Each race is carefully designed, making them distinct from one another. You can definitely create some unconventional characters that will stand out and be memorable in your playthroughs. You even have the option to choose their genitalia. Overall, the character creation process remains pleasant in both games. It provides plenty of information about the character you're crafting, including their main stat, equipment, skills and playstyle description. Each class, ancestry and background comes with detailed information to help you understand their roles in the game world. And in Solasta, while choosing a class, you get to glimpse how it progresses with time. In this regard, it is even better than Baldur's Gate, as it does not provide this amount of information. But overall, the UI in Baldur's Gate is superior. It just looks and feels more comfortable. You can jump between steps and freely change anything at any time. In Solasta, this isn't the case. You have to follow a linear progression, and going back means undoing everything you've done. If you already chose ability scores and then decide to change your race, most of your decisions are reversed and you have to start over. In the end, Solasta has a decent D&D based character creation system, but it is not even near the level of depth that Baldur's Gate 3 proposes here. It offers more of everything that matters. More races, more subclasses, more proficiencies that actually impact the gameplay, and infinitely more tools to truly customize the appearance of your character. It stands as one of the most extensive character creation tools ever created.